everyone. Welcome to 2RightAngles, your guide to creative advertising and junior advertising portfolios. We are your hosts. I'm Francesca.
And I'm Sera, and we're the two women behind Book 180, the first global 6-month, all-online, 100% female-owned portfolio program. And every show is going to feature two creative industry leaders discussing their favorite workout in the world, and we'll review a junior creative portfolio together.
So join us today as we highlight good work, great agencies, and ways to improve your portfolio so you can land your dream job in advertising. So today our two guests are Amanda Berger and Sera Takata. Amanda is a senior copywriter at 72andSunny in Los Angeles, where she's done some amazing work for clients like See's Candies and ZocDoc. She's been featured in Agency Spy, Adweek, Little Black Book, San Francisco Egotist, and Marketing Dive. She's also Book 180's incredible headlines instructor. You can follow her on Instagram too at Bergs on the Beat to watch her rap and stream her first single.
And on the other coast, Sera Takata is a senior art director at AKQA Bloom in Miami, which is a really amazing branch of AKQA that aims to help protect our planet by working with organizations that share the same ideals which we love. Sera is also an amazing Book 180 instructor, and she taught our maker culture this past fall, which is really fitting because she has this really cool side passion and Etsy shop called Oat Books, where she upcycles beautiful packaging into these really awesome notebook covers. And you can follow her on Instagram to see the book she makes at sera.takata. So let's get right into it. Welcome, Sera and Amanda. We're so excited to have you here on the show today, starting off this week with a fun third recording for 2RightAngles podcast. We're so happy you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for giving us the memo to wear the same glasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Francesca and I wear the same outfit every day, unknowingly, like completely annoying. So I had a short sleeve black turtleneck sweater on.
We both wore mint green the other night. We never wear that color. I'm like, what's happening here?
This means you're in sync.
Yeah.
Love it. But we like to start off every episode just with a quick conversation about what are your favorite ads out there in the world right now? I always love hearing this answer.
I'll go first. Not to toot my agency's horn. It's something I had zero to do with, but they just put out, I think, what was the coolest work they've done in a while. Basically, 72andSunny LA has United Airlines. So they're doing this partnership with Oscar the Grouch from Sesame Street. Basically, United is trying to turn trash into fuel and do a big sustainability push. So someone came up with the idea of Oscar the Grouch being the spokesperson. And apparently it just started as one slide and page 73 of the deck is a what if type thing. So I think it's just cool that it grew from that into this crazy partnership. Literally they have to work with 10 puppeteers and all the official people who Sesame Street is very protective, I guess, of their creatures. So, but yeah, it's really cute work. I like it because it's just so simple. You get it. There's no barrier to entry. You're United's doing trash fuel and Oscar's going to talk to us about it. Done.
Really cool.
That's smart.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It seems like an easy gift for everybody. You automatically understand what's happening. It's a really fun.
Yeah, and it's the classic, taking something complicated, crazy fuel made by scientists and making it very digestible for us dummies.
But is Oscar fighting against the platform the whole time because he actually loves trash and doesn't want it converted to fuel? Because I feel that would be a fun build.
He's kind of he's I know trash is good, but now you're saying it can be for good.
Oh,
that's kind of the angle. It's just a lot of trash jokes and puns, which obviously I would love to get my hands dirty with. You feel?
That's really cool. That's a cool thing I haven't heard of yet. I love that.
Yeah, that is cool.
Sera, what about you?
Well, I prepared my Super Bowl answer, and I'm going to do another shameless plug of Friends, because this is a couple of my friends' work from Mischief. I don't know if anyone saw it live, but there were a couple 2B ads. But there's one that everyone started screaming at their friends because the whole ad was as if you were watching the game, and then it looked like someone was changing the channel with the remote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone
And
freaked out.
yeah, everyone freaked out.
I thought it was my dog.
Everyone thought it was someone else. Like people are like throwing cushions and stuff. Like, and it was cool to hear a bit behind it because when they pulled up the screen, it was like someone was changing the channel to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Just why? And I
Oh
was,
yeah, why?
yeah, so I was texting them. I was like, "What? Like, is this like a weird joke? Is like there's a partnership with Mr. Like, is there a second movie coming out?" They're like, "No, it's just like the client really wanted that."
Always.
It was great, and I'm sure most people don't even have Tubi, so you're probably watching it, and like if you were
No,
thinking
right.
logically, you'd be like, "This can't be happening."
Yeah.
Right.
But exactly why it makes so much sense.
Right. Emotion, so no one was thinking logically at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
There's always like an ad that's just like super disruptive and breaks the rules. Like I feel like last year it was the Coinbase like QR code floating thingy, and this year the Tubi one was just like chef's kiss.
Yeah, and they said it almost didn't happen, which is cool. It's always one of those stories that just last minute goes out. But it was a great also show. It was a great way to like show the product because a lot of people don't know the interface of Tubi. I would have thought it looked different than Netflix. It kind of looked exactly like Netflix.
I feel like Tubi is just like a collection of random movies. So like the Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing kind of makes
Yeah.
kind of funny. It's like movies you forgot about. Like I remember there was one ad where you're like flying down the rabbit hole and there were all these different movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, wait, the other Tubi ad, you mean?
Yeah.
There were a
Yeah.
couple of them, right? Yeah.
I feel like I wish there had been more stunts this year, like more hacks of the platform. Like I loved those years where it was like 30 companies joined in and bought a Super Bowl spot together to like overcome the cost, or somebody had a really cool second screen experience like Coinbase instead of buying a spot or whatever.
Right.
Like I feel like there wasn't a lot of that this year.
It's hard. In general, I didn't think the ads were great. I think people try to just pack so much
Yes.
into the theory. There's never any setup. It's like all of a sudden you start in a commercial and you're like, what's going on? We're more distracted than ever. You know, we're like at a party. We're not like hostage viewers. Or that sounds, you know what I mean.
I totally agree, but I think that people think that their little teasers are like setting the public up for the spot, but like
No,
nobody cares as much as we care about our own work.
it's so funny. The teasers think they're so clever.
Yeah,
Like,
But at the
absolutely.
same time, like the teasers also ruin some of the
100%.
spots.
Like,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they just put out the spot in
Yeah.
like a full 60 or something, and then the spot is only 15 on TV, and you're
yeah,
I know. Totally.
yeah.
Yeah.
We just got to go back to like good spots during the Super Bowl. That's it. That's all you need to do.
Honestly, I'm also like they need subtitles or graphics or text because everyone's talking.
Everyone's
I'm,
talking.
I'm like
Actually,
a 90-year-old lady, but I'm like, put some damn graphics on the screen so we can follow along.
also, I feel like the game was just really good this year. And so I actually was mad when we got to the commercials.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
you're experiencing it like a true non-advertising creative.
Yeah.
well, we
Commercial.
talk to ourselves all the time. And so it's just like this is the one time that you could have Oscar just make people smile for 30 seconds.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that with the one Tubi ad, the idea was simple. It was a simple insight. You know, like people hate it when they think the channel's been changed. Let's get their
Yeah.
attention that way. I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, so next up, I'll pull up my screen and screen share for everybody, but we can kind of go over a book.
Yeah. His book is really good.
It
Really
really is very good.
It's very imaginative.
And
Yeah.
you could see like so much of his personality through it too. It's awesome.
100%. So Jack Gallagher is an art director who recently graduated from Chicago Portfolio School, and he is looking for a job out there right now. And I really love, I love his work. I love his homepage. I also just love him as a person. He's a super great guy.
So nice.
But what are your thoughts when you guys see this homepage? What did you think?
I feel like he art directed himself, which is a great thing when you have a book and you know who you are, because then the other stuff starts to fall into place, and it starts to give you an idea of what the work might be. So I think it's nice that he knows who he is off the bat.
Yeah, it's always just so refreshing to see something a little different from like the templated thing you buy on like Squarespace or whatever. And I love how like the concept of the logo is kind of like run through the whole thing, like the 70s retro vibe, or nothing feels disparate.
I completely agree. And I
Great.
feel like there's always like a watch out of going like too themed, like I feel like the
Like it can be tacky.
Yeah, the Polaroids could have been tacky, but the reason I think that it works is because he did everything correctly. It's very simple. They're all very like filtered in the same vibe, so they feel like they really go together well. And I love that he even took the time to like make sure every typeface genuinely looked hand drawn and was genuinely different. It wasn't just
he
like
didn't write them.
Oh, I thought they were hand drawn. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I think he may have written them. I don't know, but I just love that he didn't just use a handwritten font for like every single keyframe.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Just all-
squiggly like font that everyone uses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you guys look at Junior's books, what do you do first? Do you go to the About Me first, or do you go to the first campaign in the work?
I go to the About Me.
Really?
I go to the first campaign.
Uh-oh.
We're all different.
I know.
You know what? I go to the About Me first too. So let's go to the About Me. We haven't done that yet first. I go to the About Me first too. Some people say though they don't like to be like, they don't like to like that to cloud their judgment at all. They like to look at the work completely.
Cloud my judgment all you
I know.
want. Because the thing about everything, the ideas matter, but you also want someone that's going to be up at whatever crazy hour with you working on these things. I think that also sometimes it's hard as a junior to have a million pieces that talk to what matter most to you. So for me to kind of off the bat know this is what I care about gives me a different lens so that I don't necessarily judge all the work with the same weight as the top 3 pieces or something.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing you notice when you get to Jack's page is that he's got amazing hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it real? Does it actually look like that?
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome because it just feels really connected to like the aesthetic from the homepage. Like what? I just want to know more about this dude.
Absolutely.
Exactly,
And here's
yeah.
what his About Me says. It says, "Hey there, the name's Jack. Jack's not short for anything. It's just Jack. I'm a relentlessly optimistic former acting student turned marketing major turned art director from the colorful land of Colorado. As I try and force my decidedly 70s aesthetic on Chicago, I often find myself quoting my favorite karaoke song, What's Up by Four Non Blondes, because I too am constantly wondering what's going on." I love that opening. I think that that's so fun.
Great.
I think I know.
I can't believe he's not a writer.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say.
Like,
He's so good
the
at writing.
colorful land of Colorado. I'm like, ooh.
All right. So as much as I love Jack's work, my favorite thing about his book is this page here.
It's the best.
If you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love someone else? And to show off his Photoshop skills, he's just Photoshopped himself into pictures of him.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's so good.
This is really unique, like weird, funny. It doesn't take time to process, So this is like a perfect little bit of flair, I feel like.
And the fact that he brought in his acting chops he literally posed for this.
Yeah, a million times.
Every pose was him posing. Like,
does he do behind the scenes of these?
Oh, I wish he did. That would be a good ad.
That would be good. That's a good
such good content.
Such good content. Everything just feels so natural. Like, look at this face here on the side with him.
I really hope he sends these out as Christmas cards or whatever, like holiday something.
This should actually be his leave behind cards.
Yes. That should be his leave behind for sure.
Thank you cards that look like Christmas cards with himself.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I'm just seeing that one right there, and that's what inspired me.
But yeah.
So good.
He needs his own e-cards thing where you make the mouth animate too.
Yes.
digital ones.
Yes.
The kissing one. Oh my god.
I know. How did he? I would.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's perfectly matched up.
Did he kiss somebody else? I wonder too.
I don't know.
That's so perfect. Yeah, I love it. And I also love that he has a little song that you can listen to while you browse around, which is like a fun little thing. Take a chance on me by
Chance on me.
I will say that this widow kills me.
Which one? Oh, the guy. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
The what?
The widow.
The guy widow here.
I tried.
I wonder if that's responsive. No.
I tried.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an easy fix. Like he could probably have brought the 3 down, then brought the year down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was called a widow. Learn something new every day.
Or an orphan, either one.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the terms we use in this industry, I'm just like, do we really have to call it a rally cry?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's a war whoop. I'm like, no.
Yeah. All right. So the first piece in Jack's book is for always. And the campaign is called Happy Not a Mother's Day. The reality is that most sexually active people are not trying to get pregnant. For them, a period brings a sigh of relief and a reason to celebrate their new favorite holiday, held annually on the second Saturday of May. Your friends
This is brilliant.
Pink and blue, you're hoping for red. Happy Not a Mother's Day. What a fun perspective for always to bring, you know? Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
What's the first sentence again?
This is
Or why? Which day is it? Or why is it? Which day?
Oh, the second Saturday of May. Maybe that's because the first Saturday of May is Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Yeah.
The second Saturday of May
yeah.
not a Mother's Day.
Yeah, no, I think that this insight is so true. I mean, it's funny that it's got to have one day a year because really it's like it could be every month.
It's true. Actually, it's a really good point.
It shows just like it shows just like advanced thinking. Like this is the thing, you don't come up with this like your first two quarters. It's too like tangential to what like always can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they cracked. It's just such. You know what I mean? Like it's not just advertise. Like yes, it's advertising tampons, but it's like taking a more cultural approach or whatever.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's an opportunity to make this monthly though, because
when
you get it, you're just like, oh no, like why?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something.
If you could see it positively each time, that would be.
I think it could like kick off during actual Mother's Day, just as like the big launch moment, and then like maybe there's a way of extending it throughout the year, because Happy Not a Mother's Day comes once a month.
Yeah, or they could partner with one of the brands that track your period, so that it has to notify you at certain points too. And I will say I've looked into Always, and their art direction is not my favorite as far as layouts and colors. And this is different than what they have, but I would wonder if there's other more sophisticated ways to explore this. I think the idea is great. The insight's really true, but I'm looking for something maybe less on the nose, or just I see where the idea came from. There's the blue, there's the pink, there's red.
Right.
Probably should bring a little more red into it as well, since that's what.
Yeah, I love the idea of owning that you're excited to bleed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And this kind of feels like, oh, am I looking at a baby announcement?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I love this subscription box thing too. I want even more attention drawn to the box on the right with like the alcohol. Like I just think that's so funny. It's like now you can indulge in all these vices because you're not having a baby. Like this is more like writer feedback, but I think it could be really easy to just write the little note card that comes in there. You know, just these are just good opportunities for like funny copy, I think. Like
which he clearly is good at, and
also,
it's a really cool idea for a subscription box, so it's really nice.
This is great. I mean, I can see this happening in real life. You know,
for a monthly subscription box since this will come monthly. Like it's a good.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a good. If they partnered with like a period tracking app, like you said, Sarah, that would be really cool.
Yeah, but for me, it's more than the subscription box. It's the attitude. It's the fact that we're supposed to be excited to not be pregnant in a time where, especially the U.S., is making it very hard. And it's a kind of a dark topic right now.
Right.
It's a moment to get
That's
excited.
a really good cultural nuance that he could probably add to the insight. For sure. Yeah.
You could also do like not a baby shower or like I don't know. There's just this has legs, which is a good sign. Like
Yeah. I even wonder if there's a better way to say it than not a Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing wrong with being a mom either, not like trying to say that we have to ditch Mother's Day, but could it be just purely more celebratory of like being excited to have a period?
Yeah. I think it could kind of not be attached to Mother's Day at all and just be a larger, like, I think it's smart to do that for a launch moment, but maybe like the overall line floats a little higher and it's like, it's just more celebratory about welcoming the red, like not that, but
Right. Okay, let's check out the second campaign.
Yes.
So the write-up for this is Leave the Light On by Motel 6. People love being scared. So to increase stays at Motel 6, we wanted to capitalize on the cultural movement of spooky season through a scare tourism campaign running between the last days of summer and the start of the holidays when bookings are lowest. Yeah, this is really fun. Okay, so as a writer, I will say my favorite thing is this tagline that they pulled out of Motel 6's real tagline, like leave the light on.
Oh, that's so cool. It's like now it's ominous.
Yeah.
It goes from like, we'll leave the light on for you to like, leave the light on.
I know. I love it. Love it. But I feel like there's a teeny bit of finagling that could happen with this insight statement. Like the fact that bookings are the lowest during this time period feels like the true insight. And so to capitalize on the time of year, people love being scared. It just feels like there could be like a flop there. But I love the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I will never want to miss a Halloween opportunity. But agreed that like even if it's not the insight, it's just like the opportunity is so good to do something at that point.
Yeah.
I would honestly go to these year round if like you're into some scare tourism.
Yeah. Get paying the overpriced admission fee to a haunted house this year and spend the night and visit an experiential Motel 666 this spooky season. All kinds of food.
The motel doesn't actually have to do anything to change because they're already so horrifying.
The client, I can only imagine the client being like, we can't tell people we're scared.
I know.
Because they are.
They took 6 of Motel 6's locations, turned them into a scare destination, each themed after a motel in horror history.
I think we need some like photos of what that experience looks like, you know?
And like which hotels from haunted history are they doing? Like clearly The Shining is referenced here, I think. Show us some behind the scenes of
which 3 rooms.
3 rooms. Yeah. Show us the check-in desk of one of them,
Right.
It's weird because I really don't know that it needs to go this Halloween. Again, like the whole on the nose.
Yeah.
And partly because we know that motels are scary. But do we need a ghost? Do we need zombie hands? Because you're not going to see zombie hands if you go there. You're just going to see something probably creepy. You might see a cockroach. You might hear like a creak. Yeah, and the color treatment does a lot in itself. And like, I mean, the dark.
Like this one's perfect, but it's a simple one. Yeah.
A little more subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think subtlety in the ads would help like the idea feel very sophisticated.
Yeah.
And I think the lines like the billboard line is great because that's just getting you there. But then maybe some of the lines could just speak a bit more to like what's going to happen, like a little more specific about what's going to happen for you in these rooms. Like you can use classic jargon of like, it's not breakfast in bed, it's terrible. Breakfast in dead. No. I want there to be water beds.
To the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ads could reference the movies a little bit more, like, like it could be like a Here's Johnny play, but oh no, Johnny, like he's great, like.
Could be something about the like Psycho, the shower. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of fun that could be had here. But overall, like, I really do like the level of thinking here that like
Yeah.
students are trying to play in this experiential world.
Definitely. No,
Yeah.
I mean, this is fun to get to be picky because the idea makes sense.
100%.
Oh, do not disturb the dead. That's fun. That's kind
Yeah.
of like what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, this and the first one are just so unexpected, you know. Usually it's cool that right out the gate we're hit of these two just super fresh,
Yep.
out of the box ideas.
Let's go on to Coppertone. Okay, so Coppertone, live in the sun. Just let a vampire we shipped over from Transylvania show you how to live in the sun. A lot of
This
real.
kills me. I think this is so funny.
This is so fun.
Yep.
The commitment, yeah. I was just gonna say right off the bat, I think this should come further from the Motel 666 in the book because it's just like very horror centric. Just push it over one or two.
That was a great
I
show.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yep. This is fun. Ask the Coppertone Vampire any question you dare using Coppertone Vampire. It feels like he's really very good at understanding that campaigns need consumer journey thread through it and like several executions to bring the campaign to life, you know. I love the tanning stickers. I love everything just feels really like aligned.
It reminds me of the Oscar the Grouch thing almost in a way. It's just like a really simple persona to like represent what the brand stands for. You get it immediately. I don't need knowledge to know that vampires can't go in the sun, you know?
This is also just like a nice little thing I want to nod to. Like when you have the chance to work on a brand, like every opportunity is a chance to show some great writing. So like why not redo the package and put some really fun writing on it, you know? Like
100%.
every moment should be a chance to showcase your writing and your thoughts, you know?
Yeah, and this is the stuff I look for, obviously,
Yep.
is like how far down the like rabbit hole do they go with like really bringing it to life in terms of writing.
Yes. We tell students all the time that like if you have a piece in your book that like you've made yourself and it shows so much passion, it takes it from like a 9 to a 10. I really love this campaign. It feels so fun.
Yeah. I can see Coppertone doing this. Like
This makes me really want to see what he would do with Liquid Death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then it's like as he's applying to jobs, you've got to start thinking of, okay, which agency can I apply to that lets me do these fun things, or which brand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's
fun.
jump to the last campaign and then we can wrap it up. So this campaign is for BetterHelp and the campaign line is tend to your mind. So much like a plant needs sunlight and water, you have to tend to your mind. With BetterHelp's licensed professional therapist, you'll mulch the bad days into mental compost so your potential can blossom. So don't neglect your potential to blossom. Tend to your mind with BetterHelp. Shedding a few bad thoughts always brings the strongest growth. Tend to your mind with BetterHelp. Cultivate better results for an evergreen tomorrow. Tend to your mind with BetterHelp. You deserve to flourish. And at the end of the summer, we installed a QR code shaped planter on college campuses, and as students arrived, the planter filled in with healthy green grass to remind anyone struggling during their first week to use BetterHelp and beyond. That's a nice touch there.
Yeah, I like putting it in
Really
colleges.
interesting metaphor, like I've never thought of before. I'm just noticing all this language, like the overgrowth of your mind and mental compost. Like it seems like rich territory, fertile ground, not to make another pun.
Once again, though, you're right. It is a really nice way to make like a complicated issue feel more bite-sized and like easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they do a great job again at the 360 idea of having, okay, so now we're accessing botanical gardens. That's great. I will say on the out of homes, I don't know that that's the strongest part of this. And I also think that they might need, I don't know, maybe I need some science. There's like a subline that explains why the headline means something to me.
Yeah.
Because I think it has like a tendency for a lot of mental health things to feel preachy. It's like, if you give me some facts about the sun,
I think
why the
you're
sun
right.
matters.
Yeah.
Also, BetterHelp isn't. I just don't think. I mean, we know what they are, but I don't think it has the name recognition as like Always or something. So I'm always like, add the subline, make it as like foolproof as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it just will make it seem more legit.
Yeah, even if this said something like, I don't know, this is horribly bad. Like, it's not even a subline; it's just like a fact. Like, I don't know, getting 5 minutes in the sun is scientifically proven to X, or like, just some actionable thing.
Or bring it back to the BetterHelp, like having someone to touch base with once a week.
Right. Nourish your blah, blah, blah. Like throw in a word from the.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that, because the headlines are great metaphors, but they do feel a little bit high level. And so I do think having like a little bit more of an actionable just subcopy there would help.
And this is so small, but just even throwing a QR code on there will be like, oh, it's an app.
Yeah.
You know, that could help too. I'm going to say I agree with Sarah. Maybe starting with the college campus activation thing or something. I don't know. Usually I'm like, start with the print, but.
No, I do think that this could be a really nice stunt to kick it off. And then these posters could just be around campus to remind students to download the app. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something about bringing plants into your apartment that I don't think college students think to do. Like,
that's cool.
Especially when you move in freshman year, there's like, everyone's like, okay, I've got my list. And then like nowhere on that list is like something that's alive.
Right. That gives the metaphor more reason for existing. Yeah, plants themselves can also help your mental health.
Yeah.
Gives you something to take care of. Like, you can't have pets at college, so it's like, it makes sense that we're talking about colleges. It's just like, how far can you push this? As I sit next to my.
Really interesting. No one has plants in college. They should have like dorm plants.
I feel like that's an insight right there. Like, people don't do.
Yeah.
I love that. That does make it really strong and makes it have a reason for existing on college campuses beyond just people in college struggle with mental health issues. Yeah.
And people treat them like pets. Like, people give kids names.
Well, it is one of those little things that you don't even realize that your parents probably have plants in your house which help give it a homey feel, and it's something you don't even notice until it's gone, and it might be one of the reasons you're struggling with living in this empty dorm room,
Yeah, and I'm sure he could do such a fun job with art directing the different pots they could come in. Like, the pots could have phrases on them or the QR codes on them, or who knows what.
Totally.
Very true.
Would love your perspective on this, just as creatives in the industry who look at books a lot. So I know that Jack and his team were concerned about putting BetterHelp as a brand in their portfolio. They had already done the campaign and loved it, but then BetterHelp had some bad press come out about them in the news, like in real life, just about, and it wasn't anything terribly scandalous, but it was just like they, don't really support their therapists that are like contract therapists with them, and that like perhaps they oversell the benefits of BetterHelp in their advertising to people, and just like, things like that. What are your thoughts on including BetterHelp in his portfolio?
Well, I actually used BetterHelp, and my therapist left BetterHelp to do her to start her own practice too. So I understand that scandal or not, like, every company is going to have problems. I think, like, if you've got a Starbucks thing in your book, like, now there's a bunch of unions and stuff forming. So I think I don't personally consider that at all, because you could easily swap out the logo and put in, I don't know, Alma or whatever.
Space.
Yeah, which could become its own problem. Like, is it unique enough to this one? But I don't know. I think I don't personally give it too much weight.
Yeah, I think it's just a judgment call. Like, to me, I don't know this news. If it was like the Kanye West campaign, it's like, no. But like, no one, I think it's fine.
Yeah. the watch out we gave him, and we were just like, if it's something that would put you in a bad light for supporting the brand, like if it were something that was like really politically charged, or just painted you as a person in a bad light at all for even having it in your book, then perhaps then consider not putting it in there.
Yeah, and you can also talk about it in any interview if it came up, and you could say, "Oh, we built this out like before realizing."
Scandal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens to agencies too. Like you'll pick an influencer, and then you're like, "Oh my god, like,
Right.
what did
Totally.
you do?" So as long as you have like your North Star, moral North Star, then I think you can talk through it.
Well, if there was one thing we could take away as a piece of advice that we've sort of learned today in our discussions, what would you guys say was the one takeaway here?
Oof. I think he's already doing such a great job. I mean, I love the insight and the idea being right up top, because you really have no time when you're going through books. Like, especially if a bunch of people are sending you them, it's really great to keep that. And I think the other thing is consistency on who you are showing up throughout whichever idea, regardless of brand, helps a lot. Because it makes me think like, oh, this wasn't just you working with someone else and you working with someone else and so on and so forth. Like I can actually tell who he was, and that was great.
I love his book. I think it's just so far from like stale, it really shows imagination. I mean, it just really shows creativity. Yeah, and I really, for me, I always just it like how every campaign I think should be laid out, in the direction of following the flow of the user journey. So like what you see first, how you go about it, and I think he kind of did that naturally, so that's great.
Absolutely. And I also think a really strong takeaway that Jack has done extremely well is that he has kept ideas very simple. Like the
Yeah,
ideas aren't hard to understand. They come from a really strong insight, and he keeps them simple. And I think that really helps the idea shine. Like right away, we were all like, "Oh, that feels so fresh. Oh, that feels so fresh."
totally.
And we never had to be like, "Wait, what is he talking about?"
That's everything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just fun to go through his book. Like everything was really fun. And that's really exciting too.
It is.
Yeah.
I hope he gets a job soon.
I know. I can't wait to see where he lands, because I do feel like he's going to end up at this like super fun agency doing like
You
really
better.
fun, cool
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Anything else would be a shame.
I know.
100%.
Yeah. And thanks to Jack for letting us review today.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Well,
Yeah.
it takes so much courage to
It
be
does.
the person who's reviewed live on podcasts. So super appreciate, Jack, you letting us talk about your work today. And it's some amazing stuff.
It's so good.
Yep. And thank you both for being here.
This
Thank
was
you for having us.
Of course, this was fun.